I have a question, Stuart. It's Chris.
Yes.
Stuart, um, I've been feeling ill the last couple of days and realized this morning that it was probably the process of surrendering all the stuff inside that needs to die with the close of the year. Could you please talk about that process?
Well, I've been talking about that process for the last week.
Yes.
What specifically do you want to know, Chris? I mean, it's a 6-volume talk.
Okay. Mostly it's about physical pain and illness being a manifestation of that stuff that needs to let go. It's just, does that a common occurrence?
Well, look, most of the stuff that you're letting go has been stuff that's repressed inside you. You've been holding on to most of your lifetime. And the pain and the resistance you feel is just that thing inside that is so familiar with what you're holding on to that you don't want to let go of it.
Oh.
You know, so it's that pain of letting go, pain of giving birth, you know, the pain of really allowing this repressed energy, this energy that really keeps you from ever, having a spiritual life, allowing it to getting free of it. And we're so used to even the most, I mean, look, alcoholics, you're not an alcoholic, Chris, but alcoholics are, try to take alcohol away from them, try to take dope away from a junkie, I mean, the pain they go through, the withdrawal they go through to just get free of and these things are actually killing them.
Yeah.
And it's the same, it's not exactly the same, but it's close. These repressed energies are what is killing people. And I don't mean physically, I mean spiritually.
Yeah.
And we're so conditioned to live with this stuff that we become kind of minor league junkies, we go through withdrawal, we go through all kinds of pain inside ourselves because there's something coming that is really demanding that we finally let go of all this stuff we've been hanging on to all our lives. And it's very hard, I mean, I hate to talk this way about anything, but I have seen it so much. I mean, people, the house they live in, this they live in, the family, this, everything is a lifetime of conditioned behavior. And when things come along that really demand that we change, whoa, there's a war of dragons that goes on inside a person.
Yeah.
And, and it's not that we got to change the house or change the family. We just have to change ourselves. We can't be so attached to everything that it's a substitution for a spiritual life. Yeah. And frankly, when you go through that and finally let go of those dragons, the love that you have for your family, for where you live, it goes much deeper. Because it isn't, oh my God, it's my, it's my family, it's my, nobody is our possession. Nothing is our possession. One day we got to let go of everything.
Yeah.
So we might as well learn how to do it incrementally now than wait till the last minute of our life and get the realization. It's all been bullshit. And the only real thing is a connection with God. I mean, I don't know, you ever read a short story called The Death of Ivan Ilyich by Leo Tolstoy? Yes. Incredible story, but it's all about this guy who was living a perfect life and only one thing wrong, he has this pain, in his gut, and the pain keeps growing, and as it grows incrementally, he discovers that his life was just a pile of crap. Ultimately, it forces him to surrender to God.
Thank you.
It's that pain of letting go.
Thank you. That helps me so much. Thank you.
Welcome, Chris. You know, it's not only you, it's me, it's everybody, you know? I went through this whole thing like I got to be in the art business, and I bought all that. And I said, Stuart, why do you have to be in the art business? Your business is serving God. It's not becoming a vendor anymore, you know? Yeah, it's nice to have these things around me, and you know, they create a nice vibration. But I've done that, I've surrendered it. And you know, it was painful to let go of this thing in me that has to wheel and deal in life, you know? If I said, I don't have to wheel and deal, I just have to do my spiritual work and really be of service to God. And that is what my life has become. So why substitute something that's old behavior?
Yeah.
Don't have to do it. And over years of doing this, I've learned how to surrender all that stuff, you know, and just be conscious. It's like I said the other day, I mean, there's a wonderful documentary. I'm not a big fan of Netflix, but they have a wonderful documentary there with Mike Nichols and Elaine May. And parts of it are hysterically funny, those two. They were really very funny people. And at one point, you know, he says to her, you know, was great. He said, you know, the only thing in life that holds on to the past is the mind. Everything else lives in the present. And I thought, oh my God, I rose out of my seat. I said, boy, is that profound? Because it's true. The mind holds on to the past, to all kinds of conditioned behavior that it's used to. Everything else lives in the present. You know, think of nature, think of life. The car riding is living in the present. It's only the mind that is grasping everything. I said, holy shit, you know, it was worth listening to this, watching this documentary just for that. Because it's a very profound truth. Everything in the universe is in the present except for the human mind, which is holding on to conditioned behavior that is literally in many cases crippling them, keeping them from ever being in the present.
That's great.
I mean, it would just crack me up. I said, wow, I never heard a couple of comedians talking like that. I think it's amazing. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? So in our work here, we're learning how to transform the mind from something that is constantly grabbing the past and worrying about the future into an energy force that opens us inside so that we can live in the present. I mean, we watch a television program, it's in the present, and yet we're thinking about what happened 10 years ago and feeling pangs of guilt and pain and blah, blah, blah. You know, it goes on and on. You know, it's so stupid, you know? And everything in the universe is supposed to remind us to live in the present because it's all going on now. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And this would be an incredible thing to take into the new year. not to think about this is what I'm going to, but just to make it a living presence as one goes into the new year and lets go of all that stuff. And it might be painful, but so what? Better to go through the pain and get free of it than to have it repressed inside us. And ultimately, it's going to cause pain, any physical, psychological, all kinds of pain. So our work is to build a system inside that is strong enough to do this. Because you can't just say, I'm going to do this. How many people they make all these resolutions and they're broken 10 minutes into New Year's, you know? You got to have the strength inside to be able to do these things. Please try and sit still. And Rudy's meditation practice is about this. It's about building that kind of inner life. And this isn't complicated, it's very simple. And what it brings about is a simpler way of living. You know, a simpler way of living your life. Your food tastes better. You smell, sense of smell gets better, touch gets better, everything you do gets more refined.
I have a question, Stuart. Are you more or less saying that generally letting go, surrendering, moving to the next level always pretty much is painful on some level? Or is there a letting go or surrender that maybe aspect of that isn't?
Wendy, I'm not saying that. Whatever it is, you know, if you do it and it just happens, fine. And if there's pain, then you got to deal with whatever it is. I'm not saying it's one thing or another. You find out whatever it is when you're going through it. And there's usually a part of us, if not pain, we cling to things. You know, we cling to, I had somebody, honestly, this happened like a week and a half ago. Somebody, I won't go to your class unless I can be taught this way. And they laid out 6 conditions about the way they wanted to come to my class. When I told them, I'm not going to do this, it's bullshit. You know, they got all upset, you know, that I wouldn't, this is the way I want to do it. You know, you'd be like Milarepa telling Marpa, go to hell. I don't want to build a house for you. You know, he would have he became the greatest saint in Tibet because he followed, or me telling Rudy, no, I'm not going to go to college. You know, I don't want to do that. I said, okay. And I'm told by Nityananda, if you do that, he will be responsible for giving you the most profound teachings he can give in the next 2 years. You know, you come to a teacher and tell them, this is the way I want to learn from you. It's insane. It's people, this is, their image of themselves. They can't sit in a class with 30 other people, and, they have to get personalized attention. So I said, all right, go to somebody else. You get personalized attention. So it's usually that image we have of who we think we are, our self-importance, and sometimes letting go of that, it opens up, almost like a whole new realm of understanding and consciousness and just letting go of this image that we have of ourselves. And it can be very difficult because we spent a lifetime building that image. So there could be pain, there could be psychological pain, there could be physical pain. At the same time, there doesn't have to be pain. You know, it just depends on what it is. I don't know, whatever it happens, you got to deal with.
Yeah, I hear you saying the pain's more associated with the clinging, the attachment, the self-image, the not letting go, like that holding, clinging. That makes sense, actually. Yeah.
Well, ask anybody, You go into a pharmacy, right? And you want to change your toothpaste. You can spend a half hour there trying to figure out what the next toothpaste I'm going to buy. You know, it's just human behavior. We're so conditioned to function in certain ways. You know, what kind of shaving cream I want to use, you know. I mean, I used to have this problem. I would take a half hour trying to figure out, should it be this one or that one or the, you know, finally I got past that in my life, you know, just go and get something that works.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, to be honest with you, teaching these classes 7 times a week is not easy for me. I have resistance to doing this, to sit in front of, I'd much rather sit in the presence of all of you. Understand? But that's an impossibility. There are people living on 2, 3 different continents in this class, all over the United States. So I have to overcome my resistance. By Thursday evening, I'm like, oh, you know, I mean, you gotta realize that 36 people in this class. And to do this 7 times a week, there's a lot of resistance in me, but I also know, Stuart, this is giving you your spiritual life. This is allowing you to serve God in the world. As difficult as it is to do, and as much resistance you sometimes have to doing it, this is making you grow, almost like nothing I've known in the last 5 years. I'll do it. With all the resistance, I have to do what I need to do to grow. And for the last 40 years of my life, that's the way I've been. I ran ashrams. I mean, you know, I ran meditation centers. I had people, and when I was 20 years old, I was like this self-involved, very, I mean, I was a very intense kid who was completely self-involved and totally into myself. And, and then suddenly I'm living in Rudy's house and I don't even have a place to sleep. Okay, I'm not here to sleep. I'm here to learn what Rudy has to teach me. He told me that weed in the crack, I'll never forget that. It's in one of my books, actually. That weed in the crack in the sidewalk has more courage than you have. Growing in a crack in the sidewalk in New York City. Was that an education? Why are you there? Are you there? You're there for only one reason, and that's to get your spiritual life. And whatever price you have to pay is the price you have to pay. And was that an education for me? I'll tell you, it enables me to do this today. And it required enormous surrender in me. I had to go so deep inside to overcome myself. And there was all this backbiting and people there that were, it was terrible. The stuff that used to go on. I finally had to sit everybody down, all the people living there. And I said, why are we here? We're not here to denigrate each other. We're not here to be jealous of each other. We're here to learn what Rudy, I actually did this. We're here to learn what Rudy has to teach. And if you all just make that decision in yourself, all of this bullshit is going to stop. So I'm just saying that surrender is the key to it. And in life, if you want a spiritual life anyway, you got to do what you need to do, not what you want to do. Because if you do what you want to do, I mean, I wouldn't have done 80% of the things I've done in my life if I would have done what I wanted to do. I mean, I did what I needed to do to grow. I said, the hell with the, what does the rest of it matter? The rest of it just goes right to the grave. And that's painful. It's painful. You really have to learn how to let go inside, you know? What is necessary to grow, have a spiritual life, to learn how to serve God in the world. And now with the new year coming up, you know, it's a great time to do this. This is the best time of the year to do this. And also, I told you before the class, I can't have these in-person classes anymore. Not in, probably I'll start again like in early February until this whole thing kind of simmers down, this Om virus, until it really starts simmering down and getting manageable, you know, because right now, I mean, there's 70,000 people a day getting sick in New York. It's like unbelievable. 200,000 people in this country getting sick every day. And whether it's, you know, mild or not mild, people, I don't know, the whole thing is insane. And I don't want to have that on my shoulders. So I'm going to stop the in-person classes. I don't want to have people come and have to do tests and, you know, are you vaccinated and all this stuff. I just like, no, we won't do it until this whole thing starts simmering down. I'm going to protect myself, and I got to protect the people that come here, that will eventually come here. My daughter, you know. That's difficult because I love those classes. I really do. I want to do them, you know, but I love it when people come and visit from all over the place. And, you know, we go out and have dinner, we have this, we laugh a lot, it's fun, you know.
It's 9 o'clock.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, you know, there'll be meditation on Wednesday. And again, as I always say, God bless you all and thank you. I can't tell you how much you all teach me. I am not here to be a teacher. I am here to learn. And the presence of every one of you in these classes is me sitting in front of a guru, you know? Every single one of you gives me an opportunity to learn about myself and to grow in my life. And that's the only reason I'm here, to do this. So God bless you all. Thank you. And there'll be a class Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Good night, Stuart. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Stuart.
Good night.
Thank you, Stuart.
Take care.